Hey, 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 happy Thursday! Come on in, pull up a chair, the Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com. Come on in. It is a Thursday night. Things are a little bit different tonight because normally I will cover role-playing games on Thursdays. But the next week or two is going to be kind of crazy as far as my schedule. So I decided, you know what? I am actually going to unbox and take a first look at Commands and Colors Medieval from GMT Games. This just arrived at the old Duct Tape Studios earlier this week. So hey, Kabuki Kid is here, as well as Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review, or as I like to say, W. Yeah, maybe not. So, tonight is episode 308 of the Daily Dope. It is Thursday, May 23rd, 2019. So, chat is available on YouTube if you are watching live. Do want to point out, chat is not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the stranger commenters at bay, but I do pay attention to the chat. So, if you want to say hello, or maybe you've got a question, or maybe there's going to be something about Commands and Colors Medieval that you want to get a closer look at, by all means, chime in. All right, Lead Magnet is popping in. The Madman is here too, so already we've got a good chat starting to develop. Do want to point out, if you like the show, if you dig the video, please give a thumbs up. If you happen to check out some other videos on the Gaming Gang channel and you happen to like those, please subscribe. Don't forget, ring that little bell, because it will not only inform you when a new video is up on the channel, it'll also let you know when the stream goes live within maybe about 5 minutes or so. And of course, I like to point out, if you like thegaminggang.com, if you dig the YouTube channel, tell a friend. In fact, tell 2 friends, because help spread the word. All right, so I got a bit of news tonight. Not as much as yesterday. That was a pretty solid half hour of tabletop gaming news yesterday's show, especially those minis that are coming starting in August from Modifius Entertainment for Fallout Wasteland Warfare. I mean, it was just tons of stuff. Really cool photos that they had, though. Pretty impressive. I doubt if I'm going to see review copies of the stuff, but still wanted to share that. Anyway, before I get into the news, did want to talk about something I saw on Twitter today. And I'm not gonna name the person whose Twitter account this is from. It is someone who is a fairly popular tabletop gaming personality. It's a young woman, and I don't really follow her, but somebody had retweeted this. This is how I saw it. Like I said, I'm not going to say who it is, but they are fairly popular, especially if you're into, like Euro games, family games, things like that. GMT stuff, Tiny Battle Publishing stuff, Flying Pig Games. No, that's not what she covers. But anyway, so she tweeted out, and I'll paraphrase here, that if she accepts, she does accept money from companies to cover their games, I should say, to review their games. She keeps telling people that she's not a reviewer, she's a marketer. So let me say that one more time, because I kind of got tongue-tied there. So she effectively says she takes money from companies to provide coverage and review their games. She keeps telling people she's not a reviewer, she's a marketer. In my personal opinion, that does not make you a marketer. That makes you a shill. And somebody who I would not trust as far as reviews. Now, she seems like a pretty nice person. I've seen a couple of her videos and stuff like that, so I'm not trying to pick on her. It's because she keeps referring to the videos that she shoots and she shares as reviews. That's what I have a problem with. Because since the beginning of time, critical reviews are usually coming from people who are not being paid by say for an example, you had a food critic, right? If a food critic goes into a restaurant, they should not be accepting money from that restaurant owner to give them a positive review, right? It's not done. And if it is done, those people kind of get kicked out of their job pretty fast. So I was sort of like, no, sorry. You could be a marketer, that's fine. I have no issue with that. There are a lot of people out there who shoot video and they give their thoughts on a game and things like that, and they don't call it a review, and they point out that they are being paid, which I don't think she does in her videos. It might be another like Man versus Meeple thing where it's like pops up after all the credits and crap like that, right? But so I was sort of like, no, I'm sorry. You want to call yourself a marketer, that's fine. Don't call what your videos are reviews then. Call it a, preview or what have you. Just don't call it a review, because then it makes because then suddenly a lot of people out there start thinking, well, so if she gets paid to do reviews, and I guess everybody else gets paid to do reviews too, so I should take what people say with a grain of salt. Which, I mean, honestly, any reviewer that's getting, free review copies of stuff, I can kind of think, oh, well, they did get it for free. Do they have an obligation to, like, say something nicer about it than they would if they had paid for it? I do my utmost never to have that come into the equation, whether I paid for it or got it for free. So, anyway, just wanted to point that out. I thought that was very weird. I did tweet that I thought, no, you're not a marketer, you're a shill if you call it a review. So moving right along, let's get on into the news, because there is, I should point out, hold on before I jump in, because I know somebody who watched yesterday's Wargame Wednesday was upset because I didn't say, if you don't like the tabletop gaming news of the day, look in the show notes below. There are timestamps. You can skip past and get into the unboxing and the first look for Commands and Colors Medieval. Okay, there you go. Look in the show notes if you want to skip past the news of the day. Anyway, getting into the news of the day, a premium edition of the hit family game Cat Lady, Hey Lady, is coming this fall from AEG, and I've got the dope. Players are cat ladies, part of an elite group of people, including Marie Antoinette and Ernest Hemingway. I don't think you would call Ernest Hemingway a lady, nor would I think he let you get away with calling him that if he were still around. Let's just say cat people, maybe? Cat fans, as I am one. Anyway, during the game, you and your fellow cat ladies will draft cards 3 at a time, collecting toys, food, catnip, costumes, and of course, lovable cats. Madman saying getting a bit of an audio delay, really? Alright, anybody else want to chime in to see if there's an audio delay? Because I actually checked this earlier to make sure everything was in sync. So, anybody else in chat want to chime in? Let me know if they're experiencing any sort of an audio delay right now. Because I know sometimes, depending on, sometimes we see a bit of a buffering issue. I'm not showing any drop frames or anything like that. Everything seems to be popping along. Okay, so you says no audio delay on their end. Sweet! Because audio sync issues are just the worst. Oh, they are just the worst. Because for one, I have to actually upload my recording of the show, so everything in chat is gone. So, and then of course I have to resync the audio to it, and yeah. Anyway, all right, so let's go back to the top. Players are cat ladies, part of an elite group of people, including Marie Antoinette and Ernest Hemingway. During the game, you and your fellow cat ladies will draft cards 3 at a time, collecting toys, food, catnip, costumes, and of course, lovable cats. But watch out! Make sure you have enough food for all your feline friends, or your hungry cats will subtract points from your score. You mean kind of like what happens when, like, people who hoard animals pass away in their house and aren't found for a little while? Ugh. The player with the highest total victory points wins the game. This premium edition of Cat Lady includes the previously released game that was featured in AEG's Big Game Night 2017. It also includes many extras that enhance play, such as additional stray cats for greater variety, upgraded wooden tokens, a handy score pad to total players' points at the end of the game, and components that allow you to customize cat cards based on your favorite feline friends. The Cat Lady Premium Edition is for 2 to 4 players ages 14 and up, plays in about 30 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $29.99 when it arrives on October 4th. Sweet! Little family game fun there to start off. And why in the world is it... There we go. I was going to say, how long is that score sheet going to sit up there showing it? So Paul Nolan's popping in. Good deal. Good to see you, Paul. My next news piece, I wish it had been announced yesterday, because, I don't know, Tiny Battle Publishing is only one of the sponsors for Wargame Wednesdays, but I don't know. Mark H. Walker just loved to do his, like, press releases on Thursdays after the fact, after we do the Wargame Wednesday shows. But my good buddy Herman Lutman has a new design arriving soon from Tiny Battle Publishing, and I've got the dope on The Devils to Pay. The Devils to Pay is a game depicting not only the events of that first day at Gettysburg, but also what could have happened on that fateful day. 2 players will each command either the Confederate forces of Lieutenant General A.P. Hill and Lieutenant General Richard Ewell, or the Union forces of Reynolds and Major General Oliver Howard. How come Reynolds doesn't get his first name? Everybody else gets first name. I don't know. The game is played on a gorgeous map of the battle area designed and drawn by Rick Barber, with each hex equaling 250 yards. Units are multi-counter brigades with each strength point representing about 100 men, and these brigades are organized in groups of regiments as they were deployed at the battle. The system is a new version of the blind sword system, with this implementation emphasizing ease of play and accessibility while maintaining the popular spirit of historical chaos represented by the other games in the Blind Swords family. This system utilizes a unique chit pull mechanic that will keep players on their toes and engaged throughout the entire game. The Devils to Pay, the first day at Gettysburg, is for 2 players ages 14 and up, and it is going to carry an MSRP of $44. Right now, you can pre-order Tiny Battle Publishing's first boxed game. Wow, how about that? Right now, it does carry a sale price of $39. Oh, look, Dan from No Enemies Here pops in just as I'm talking about Herman Lutman's new game. So he's like, yeah, baby. Hey, so Dan at No Enemies Here, have I asked you, are you going to Origins? Yes, Viper Dave is in the house as well. Slade Wilson is popping in. Slade says his great-great-grandfather fought in the American Civil War from Maine, so obviously enough, fighting on the side of the Union. This looks good. Tiny Battle Publishing stuff's always good. It's Here's the thing that kind of throws me off all the time, and it seems to be mainly with American Civil War games. And is it just me? But doesn't it seem like when we see these American Civil War games that are for a battle, right? A battle that took place over multiple days, especially Gettysburg. It's always, well, here's the game that's about the second day at Gettysburg, or here's the game that's Pickett's Charge, or what have you. Very rarely do we see a game that comes out where it is all 3 days, that you can simulate all 3 days of the battle. I don't know. It's kind of strange. Kind of surprised. Is it because I don't know. I mean, I'm like, is it because of the count that you would have to have? Because there were so many different regiments and corps and things like that. I don't know. Flaming Huron's popping in as well. Good deal. Flaming Huron saying little change with regular schedule program. No, it's 7 o'clock Central. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. My clock is right. So, anyway, but yes, I had to laugh because it's the historical chaos comment in that sell sheet info. Because yes, Herman Luttman is the king of chaos in his games. He likes chaos. I like it too. I like chaos. I like randomness. Not crazy, stupid randomness, but I enjoy some randomness. I enjoy some replayability with that chaos. Because that's, to me, what really, makes a game. I mean, you play a game once and be like, yeah, that was fun. Flaming Huron. Change of schedule as far as what we're looking at. Yes, and I will explain that once I finish up the news. So sorry about that, Flaming Huron. I was kind of like, huh? What? It's funny because my brother, and I've told him umpteen times, right? My brother plays some games. He's not a huge gamer, but I have to tell him like once a week what time did I do his show. So it's like, what's going on? All right, yeah. Dan's like, Rick Barber map with all these exclamation points. So Thursdays are usually role-playing games that get covered on the show here. So how about a couple of news peepses? Let me grab a sip here. News peepses? Or like little marshmallow candies peepses? Peeps? How about a couple of news pieces about role-playing games? And first off, Renegade Game Studios is going to be releasing a role-playing game based on Shem Phillips' North Sea board games, and I've got the dope on the North Sea epilogues. Vikings, grab your shield and weapon of choice and venture onto the North Sea in this new RPG. Designed by Tim and Kristen Devine, they're just divine, and published in partnership with Garfield Games, this role-playing game is set in the North Sea universe of games, including the award-winning Raiders of the North Sea, of which I and my nephew Cameron are big fans. While the GM will be the main narrator in the game, players are encouraged to help shape the story. Players take on the role of their heroes and interact with the scenes, NPCs, and other heroes. In the North Sea epilogues, heroes will embark on adventures and face many challenges. Players may attempt any kind of action they wish when trying to overcome these challenges. For most actions, the GM will ask players to roll a 20-sided die. When dice are involved, the GM secretly sets the difficulty level for dice rolls to overcome. The players involved choose which of their skills to use and roll their dice. The GM will interpret the roll and summarize the impact based on the challenge they set. Regardless of the outcome, both players and the GM will help describe what happened. There are no meaningless rolls, as all of them help advance the story. As with the board game set in the same universe, Epilogues is based loosely in history. While heroes won't be fighting ice giants and other mythological creatures, they may still believe in such beings and otherworldly forces. Create heroes and set out to battle enemies, uncover mysteries, and gain a reputation. The possibilities are endless, and the North Sea is waiting. So ready the longboats and prepare to forge an exciting and epic saga. Get your sea legs ready and pre-order your copy of the North Sea Epilogues now. Or visit the Renegade Game Studios website to learn more, which actually you can't. I just shared all the info that's there right now. The North Sea Epilogues will carry an MSRP of $30 when it arrives in July. So, hey, and Jorge Rodriguez is back. Or maybe it's George, but I think it's Jorge. Good to see you again. Fairly newer viewer who hangs out in chat now. So anyway, so this could be interesting. Although, and I'm not trying to talk anybody out of checking this out, because it is possible that I might be able to review this, because I've already got an appointment set up with Renegade over at Origins. If I go, I'm scheduling interviews just in case, in case I am going. So anyway, the way it's kind of presented, though, it sounds like this is very mechanical. Like the scenes, and here's a scene, this is your challenge, roll your dice, try to overcome it. I don't know. So I'm kind of curious about this. Because Renegade Game Studios, outside of Kids on Bikes, which I think is excellent. Yes, so Dan at No Enemies here is like, thought you were going to WBC. Because Dan likes to ask me almost every show, hey Jeff, did I ask you, are you going to WBC? But Kids on Bikes is great. I thought Overlight was really, really undercooked. I thought it was a good idea there, but I thought overall as a role-playing game, it was very undercooked. I'm one of the few people who thought that. Some people were just like, oh, this is amazing. And I was like, no, it's not. And Outbreak Undead, which was with Hunter's Entertainment. They did Kids on Bikes with Hunter's Entertainment, too. Outbreak Undead 2nd edition was just horrible. Just horrendous. And it was mainly the way it was presented was just a complete mess. It's like, here's 5 different levels of complexity, and take whatever you want, take this and pick that, and it's like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so I would be interested in checking this out. I think this would be pretty cool. All right, my final news piece. Fans of Monte Cook Games, Numenera, will be pleased to know the 9th World Bestiary Volume 3 is now available in PDF from DriveThruRPG. Here's the dope. 150 new creatures and characters as dangerous as they are imaginative. For 1 billion years, this earth has teemed with life. Nature has crafted innumerable species, and thousands more have been shaped by the prior worlds. There is no end, it seems, to the variety of life to be encountered in the 9th world. And all of it is interesting, usually weird, sometimes creepy, and often very, very dangerous. This lavishly illustrated tome brings over 150 new 9th World creatures and characters to life. Innovative features such as size comparison diagrams, 1 creature per page layout, yay, and heavy cross-referencing make this book a joy to use. Joy. I like that. This book is a joy to use, whether at the game table or while prepping your adventures. And it includes encounter tables featuring creatures from the Numenera Discovery and Numenera Destiny core books, plus all 3 9th World bestiaries, making it easy to look up creatures from every major source. The 9th World Bestiary 3 comes with 2 poster files, one featuring a creature comparison diagram, and the other stunning cover art. The 192-page 9th World Bestiary 3 is available in PDF for $17.99 from DriveThruRPG. And of course, as I like to point out, as far as DriveThruRPG, if you are going to visit, please swing by thegaminggang.com. First, click on one of our banners. That way, if you make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. So, or as I believe it's Paul Nolan likes to say, it's Jeff's piece of the action. and it's a very small piece, folks. Okay, so yeah, Jorge Rodriguez is like, yeah, the bestiary sounds cool. I was just about to say, as a role player, right? As a game master mainly. For example, I'm like the forever GM usually. I'm a big fan of like bestiaries and monster manuals and stuff like that. Even if I'm never gonna run that system, I dig that. I love to check out the bestiaries, monster manuals, stuff like that, just for inspiration. And most of the time I kind of just like their stat blocks and stuff. I don't even really dig that far into them. I'm more, interested in, okay, what's what's like the myth around them, or what's the legend, or what are their special abilities. I wonder if I don't think I'm alone in that. I think a lot of people really, really dig bestiaries and monster manuals and stuff like that. And you can always tell a good role-playing game is ready for the big time when they have a monster book. There's a lot of games out there. In fact, I am amazed. Is it Lamentations of the Flame Princess? Does not actually have an official monster book. There are third-party monster books for that role-playing game, but kind of like, wow, you've been out for years. Why don't you have a monster book? So, yeah, pretty cool. So, yeah, Paul Nolan's like, yeah, got to give Jeff some of the scratch. That's right, a little bit of that scratch, folks. So, Flaming Heron was talking about, a little bit of a change of the programming. Yeah, the reason why is that I am up in the air if I'm going to take a 4-day weekend or not for Memorial Day, because stupid me, I never pay attention to when, like, the Monday holidays are. So, up until earlier today, even though I keep hearing stuff Memorial Day, blah, 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 I didn't realize that Monday is actually Memorial Day. I thought Memorial Day was in, like, June. I don't know. I was like, yeah, I thought it was, like, first week of June. But, and so there's talk about maybe going camping, stuff like that. So there's that. So I'm up in the air. I don't know. And the reason why I'm up in the air is because if you've been watching the show, next week I have to fly out to Arizona to drive back with my mom, who is moving from Arizona back to the Chicagoland area. So that is going to take me out of action for probably 3 days of the week. Then that next Monday, the June 3rd, I'll be at Wrigley Field rooting for the Cubs with my best friend Elliot Miller over at voiceofe.com. So I'm trying to squeeze some stuff in that is kind of, I don't want to say time sensitive, but that I believe that people are like, hey, I really want to check this out. I was going to page through Cyberpunk 2020 from Artel Sorian Games, and I'm still waiting for Sammy to do her review for me. So I thought, okay, let's put that on the back burner, because I would kind of like to do the page through and then be able to say, oh, and if you'd like to hear Sammy's thoughts on it, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com. So, plus, I think a lot of people are interested in checking out Commands and Colors Medieval. I know the Madman has been tweeting me a little bit on Twitter talking about wanting to kind of check out some war games in that, although this is not World War II. But things that are going to be a little more gateway-ish into the hobby, which, of course, Commands and Colors usually is. So that was another reason. I know I might actually end up having one of the first videos out there that shows off the game. So I figured, yeah, you know what? Let's do that tonight. And, Wargame videos do really well for me. In fact, we looked at the last 100 yards last night, and usually within the first day or so, I have about 50 views, depending on what it is. If it's like a Dungeons and Dragons thing, no, it's usually much more than that. But before it came out, I already had over 100. I think it was like 110 views on that, which isn't too bad. So Paul Nolan says official start of the summer season for a lot of resorts. It's funny, when I lived out in Arizona and I was a bartender for one of the big money, old money resorts, it was about this time where it was kind of like, all right, gonna have most of the summer off. Because it was like, yeah, that's it. Everybody's leaving. Everybody's leaving. Don't want to be out there for 118 degree weather. So, anyway, also want to point out tomorrow night I will have a listing up. I'll have a page up on thegaminggang.com. I will tweet this out. So, you should follow the Gaming Gang on Twitter. It's basically me on Twitter at the Gaming Gang. I will have a page up for the games that I will be having on sale. So, to help out as far as financing going to Origins. Because if I can't make a little bit of, as Paul Nolan likes to point out, scratch, I am not going to be able to go to Columbus in a couple of weeks. So Dan says, Jeff, WBC is a resort. No, WBC is a convention. It is held at a resort. So, is at a resort. Sorry, I misread that. Yeah. So that's what's cooking. That's why I kind of changed things up and so on and so forth. So I will get into the unboxing in just a second because it's time for Lil Whizbub. That's right, Lil Whizbub's popping up because if you are a fan of the Gaming Gang, if you watch videos on the Gaming Gang channel, you know that this is pretty much a not-for-profit endeavor here. So if you like the website, if you like the show, please consider making a small donation to Lil Bub's Big Fund and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. And to learn a little bit more about this, let's hear from Lil Bub herself. All right, so as you heard, Lil Bub's Big Fund does provide grant monies to organizations that provide shelter for animals that are awaiting adoption, special needs animals that are awaiting adoption. So, if you happen to decide you want to make a small donation, be sure to shoot me an email. My email address is right down there. It's Jeff McAleer at thegaminggang.com. I will certainly give you a shout out on the following show if you would like, because there are people who shoot me an email and say, hey, send a, pledge a couple of bucks, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, cool. So Jorge says a short commercial break. Yeah, sort of, but it's for a good thing. Yeah, Rob Moffat's popping in. I saw as the video was playing, Rob popped in for just a sec because he's working hard. And the rest of us are just doing this, hardly working. So, anyway, I know quite a few people are going to be checking this video out because they want to get a first look at Command and Colors Medieval from GMT Games. Commands and Colors. Did I say Command and Colors? It's Commands and Colors. Medieval from GMT Games, designed by Richard Borg. Not Richard Berg, Richard Borg. With artwork and graphic design provided by Roger B. McGowan, Darius Borozewski. Yes, seems like Darius is doing a lot of work for GMT, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to pronounce his name. And Chechu Nieto Sanchez. The game is for 2 players, ages 14 and up, plays in about an hour or more per battle. and it does carry an MSRP of $75. It is available now. So Dan from No Enemies here has to clock out just as we're getting into the unboxing. So, all right, Dan, have a great night. If I decide to have a 4-day weekend, enjoy your holiday weekend. See, that's the other reason why I'm kind of considering maybe not having a show tomorrow is I'm not sure how many people would be tuning in. So I might, it's possible I could shoot some, like standalone videos at some point too. But all right, so anyway, let's move on over to that other camera. Let's start taking a look at Commands and Colors Medieval. This is a hefty box because there are a lot of wooden, well, they're not cubes, they're wooden pieces. So this has a lot of heft to it. So let's get some of the shrink off here. And it's funny, I did mention that this is designed by Richard Borg because there is another game designer, Richard Berg, who for some strange reason people tend to tend to sit there and mistake. All right, Unscripted and Unchained's got to go too. All right, so have a great night. And once again, if you don't pop in or I don't have a show, have a fantastic holiday weekend. If you're in the U.S., of course, right? Because if you're not, doesn't matter. Okay, so there are 19 battle scenarios. Now you are in command. Yes, you are in command. So the Command and Colors Medieval game allows players to recreate important engagements of early medieval history. Scale of the game is flexible and varies from battle to battle. For some scenarios, a unit may represent Byzantine infantry or cavalry banda of soldiers, while in other scenarios, a unit may represent just a few brave warriors. Still, the battlefield tactics you will need to execute to gain victory conform remarkably well to the strengths and limitations of the various medieval unit types, their weapons, the terrain, and history. Commands and Colors Medieval is based on the highly successful Commands and Colors game system, and by design is not overly complex. In this core game, the focus is on early medieval battles between the Byzantine Empire and Sassanid Persians. In addition, some key battles between the Huns and Romans are included, which act nicely as a bridge between C&C Ancients and the early medieval period. All right, so we're going to jump on into this. Commands and Colors is very popular. There is Napoleonics, and there's also Ancients. And in fact, GMT Games just did a big reprint for a bunch of their expansions for Napoleonics. And I had to laugh because, as you'll see when we get in here, we've got all these wooden blocks that you have to put these stickers on. No joke. Look at all these. You're going to put stickers on both sides of these. And the guys over at the Player's Aid were stickering all of them. I was like, oh, man. So, yeah, so I don't actually... I don't trim counters, but I do sticker blocks. I mean, as you can see, there are loads of these. They are multiple sizes as well. I think there's 2 different sizes. Commands and Colors is pretty cool. I enjoyed it. It's not the most historically accurate system out there, but it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I think some folks may not like the system because of the cards, because it's card driven as far as what orders you can actually give to your troops, depending on if they're on the left, center, or right. So I think some folks aren't real keen on that. Me, I think it's kind of cool. I kind of like it because, especially when you're looking at like Ancient, because Ancient Warfare, you could have formations and everything else until you actually made contact, and then forget it. Your command structure just kind of fell apart. So Robert Moffat is like, so is this like Monty Python's Search for the Holy Grail type combat? The Black Knight? Similar. It is similar. So we have the Commands and Colors dice. And these are actually printed on, which I remember way back in the day. I have, gosh, it's been a long time since I played Commands and Colors, but I recall that the dice that were in the original were actually stickered. So you had stickers on the dice. So these dice actually have these printed on. Now, I don't know if it's... because there's like a special technique that they use for like, with heat to kind of seal the image on here. I don't know if that's the case or not. So we've got the deck of cards. We'll look at those probably last. We've got the rule book. Let's take a look at the rule book. Pretty hefty. I think the playbook is probably part of this rule book. I am not positive. Kind of have an impression. So let's do this. I'm just going to put the cover over here. So let's take a quick peek. I think we could zoom in a little bit. There we go. So we got an introduction. Talking about the battle dice, units, leaders, and blocks. Talking about the battlefield board, right? So we've got the left flank, the center, right flank. So we have foot blocks, mounted cavalry blocks, and leader blocks. So there are 3 different size blocks. Now I do want to point out this is not a Fog of War game. This is not along the lines of like Columbia Games, like Hammer of the Scots, or Julius Caesar, because you'll actually have stickers on both sides. So you can see what units are facing off against you on the battlefield. Paul Nolan asks, does it come with coconuts and a European swallow? 'Tis just a flesh wound. Your arm's off. It is not. I just was recently watching some stuff, a series on Netflix about Monty Python. Because I remember I watched the unauthorized, or the authorized, but maybe not true, whatever, which I really thought was interesting. But for some strange reason, it seems like there's a lot of Monty Python stuff on Netflix lately. So yes, is it an African swallow or European swallow? What is your favorite color? And what is it like? It's something like black, no blue. Oh! Bring out the holy hand grenade. Thou shalt not throw it. Whatever. All right, so taking a look at the different blocks. So we've got Byzantine and Roman forces are with the purple. The Sassanid, Persians, and the Huns are the almost like mustard color there. Talking about setting up the game. Object of the game turn. This does, on the back of the box, it indicates this is a medium complexity game, because it was kind of funny here. Let's try to hold this so things don't fly out of it. But if you notice the back of the box, the credits are a little bit different on this box. Whereas normally we have like everything off on the side right here. Here it's showing, rather than the complexity level from 1 to 9, or yeah, it's 1 to 9. It's low, medium, and high. So it kind of gives the impression that this game is almost, the box itself is kind of being marketed as kind of an introduction to Wargames. So by just saying, hey, it's medium complexity. All right, Robert Moffat's got to run. All right, good to see you, Rob. And once again, if I don't do a show, or if I do one and you don't pop in, enjoy your holiday weekend. Like I said, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll usually know what's going on, because I normally in the morning, late morning, sometimes early afternoon, I will tweet what's going to be on the show. And then I usually tweet maybe about an hour to 30 minutes before the show goes live. So, okay, so we got play a command card in phase 1. Phase 2, order units and leaders. Phase 3 is movement. Phase 4 is combat. We got ranged combat. We got close combat. mounted unit close combat, leaders in close combat. Then we've got retreating. So, yes, there'll be lots of that. Leader casualty checks. And then we got special actions. One thing as far as, especially medieval, you're not going to see tons and tons of like special rules for various different kinds of units, simply because of the technology level really at that time. So Madman says, yes, very helpful to follow on Twitter. Yes, and if you have a question, you actually can message me and I do reply. So it's not like I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm too busy. So then we got the terrain hexes. These are going to be pretty cool. We'll be looking at these in a minute. It's another aspect of commands and colors that I like. Then we got the command cards. It looks like we might be going through a breakdown of each of them. Yep. Then we got tactic cards. And then we got the scenarios. Yeah, so the playbook and everything is just in this one book. So 19 scenarios. That's pretty sweet. All right, so we got 447 AD. So it looks like we've got 447 to 586. So we got Udis River. I am not even going to try to pronounce. Catalonian Fields. So we've got the Roman left and the Roman right. Thenurius, Melibasa, Dara. Hey, that's easy to say. Satala. Kalinicum. Phase 1 and Phase 2. So we've got some of these battles are kind of broken up into different portions of the battle. Oh, this is actually broken up into 3. Huh, okay. Lazic War 548. The LASIK. What were they battling over? LASIK surgery? What? Yes, Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch for the win. Hey, so we got a newbie popping in. So, you're a PD's ghost. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us in chat. Thanks for tuning in to watch live. Okay, so yes, we've got a few. Wow, we've got a few scenarios here for the Lazic War. Solachan, main battle, and the Cardassian stand. What? All right, so we got 19 scenarios. No designer notes, though. They weren't up front, were they? I don't think so. So, kind of interesting. I always like checking out designer notes. So, as we're looking at, we got all these blocks, right? We got all of these blocks. These are the stickers. We got a bunch of stickers that we will be applying to those blocks. And we're going to zoom in to get a much better look at these sticker sheets. So we got the Byzantine and Roman Empire forces. So we got light bow cavalry. We've got light cavalry. One thing that I do like with the GMT, with their commands and colors, they always give you some spares. They give you some spare stickers in case something happens. Yeah, stickers means many hours of meditative practice. Yeah, it's basically put on like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the director's cuts, and kick back and get on to stickering. So we've got some more light bow cavalry. We got medium cavalry here. Heavy cavalry. And you'll notice they have these little symbols that coincide with the battle dice. More medium cavalry, heavy cavalry. So those are the Byzantine and Romans. We've got super heavy cavalry. Then we've got the Sassanid Persians and the Huns. Medium cavalry. Light bow cavalry. More. Now we start getting into infantry. So we've got light bow infantry. Auxiliaries. Medium infantry. Once again, we get some spares here. More medium infantry. Then we've got heavy infantry down here. Some more heavy cavalry. Then we've got leaders. Warrior infantry. Now these are for the Persians. So we got warrior infantry here. More auxiliaries. More heavy infantry. We've got some light cavalry over here as well. Heavy cavalry. We've got spares for the cavalry. More Byzantine leaders and more Persian and Hun leaders here. And looks like we've got some medium infantry, warrior infantry, some spares, light bow infantry, super heavy cavalry, spares for the cavalry as well, and then we've got some more Persian and Hun leaders. So these are all the stickers. Now, you're probably wondering, well, wait a second, how come we don't have like individual leaders or anything like that? If I remember correctly, in Napoleonics they do. In Ancients, I think maybe they've got like Alexander or something like that, but for the most part, the leaders are pretty much, interchangeable. Because basically what the leaders are going to do is they're going to allow you to do more things in that quadrant, or I shouldn't say quadrant, in that section of the battlefield, either the left, center, or the right. Yes, sticker apocalypse. Dice looks cool. Dice look cool, says Ghost. Looks like the set I bought on eBay for CC Ancients for like $40. Wow, really? That is. I'm sorry. I like dice, and of course these are custom dice. These aren't dice you're going to probably be using for anything but commands and colors. But I am not one of these people who goes out and blows a lot of money on dice. I don't. Like I was talking about the the new Dungeons and Dragons adventure supplement that's going to be coming out in September, and they got that box with those pretty cool dice, the almost like Hellfire dice. It's like, nah, I wouldn't be buying them. I mean, if they want to send them for free for a review, I'm all cool with that, because there's other stuff in that box, but like I wouldn't go out of my way to just go purchase dice. I mean, to me, dice are dice. I know the folks at Chessex would string me up and hang me if I said dice are dice, because Chessex dice roll way different than regular standard gaming dice. All right, so then we got some counters. Actually, pretty thick counter sheet here. And they are dual-sided. So this is kind of cool, where it's like a raised sword. So we've got bow and non-bow. And then we've got these. I think these are marking like objectives, if I remember correctly. So we got that. Then we've got a bunch of punch boards that are going to have the terrain. So we've got some hills, hilly terrain here. And, oh wow, cool. Battlements. Looks like, I guess these would be supply trains is my guess. Chessex blasphemy. Yeah, I know. That's how I roll. So that's cool. Kind of cool here. So we got that. Then we've got some forests. Got a bunch of forest hexes, and then we've also got rivers. We got river hexes as well. Then we got some more forests and hills. Let's see what we got on the back of these. This is like rocky terrain or something like that. And we got some bridges for some rivers as well. So, got that. We have a couple of player aids. So I will actually zoom back out so we can take a look at these. Okay, so we got reference cards here. So 2 copies of these. These are dual-sided, looks like. Yep. So we've got the unit types, telling you what kind of class they are, how they move, fire range, fire dice, close combat, can they enter close combat? So we've got that. Then we've got leaders, leaders alone, leaders attached to a unit. And the same on the back as well. So we've got all the different units here. There aren't tons and tons of different units. So there has to be a moat and drawbridge. No, didn't see one. Did not see any moats. Inspired action reference cards. So we've got 2 copies of these. So we've got one side has the Byzantine, and the other has the Persians, and of course Roman and Vandal, as well as the Huns. So we've got that, and then we've got a big mounted board. Now, maybe it's not as big as some that we see, but there is a mounted board here. So, and as I always point out, when we got the mounted boards from GMT that come in these bags, be very careful when you first take it out, because it's pretty easy to catch an edge. So, this is just single-sided, and just has big hexes on it. Decent sized board. I mean, you don't need tons and tons of room on the table here. So, I can zoom out more, kind of give you an idea of the board size. So, but as you see, there's a line that runs down here. So, when you have your command cards, it'll tell you, is it going to be your left flank, center, or right flank? So that is the board, and then we'll look at the cards. Zoom back in on these. All right, get the old hobby knife out here real quick. Yeah, actually, a moat and drawbridge would be pretty sweet. Okay, so they're all the same? Yes, okay. So as I was pointing out, you'll be able to give orders to various different areas of the board. So here it's showing that you can order one unit or leader in any section to scout. So here we've got order 2 units left. So issue an order to 2 units and or leaders in the left section. In the center, same thing. Order heavy troops. Order 2 units in the center. 2 units on the right. 3 units left. 3 center. And 3 right. So you have to be able to play these cards to be able to issue these commands. So, command the center. So, order units equal to command. So, your leader will have a command rating. So, coordinated attack. Issue orders to 1 unit and or leader in each section. Outflanked. Forward. Order light troops. Order medium troops. Order heavy troops. Leadership, any section. Left, center, and right. Then we get into the tactic cards. I think there were 20 of them, if I remember correctly. We got ambush, clash of shields, counterattack, cry havoc, and unleash the dogs of war. Dark in the sky with arrows. Yep, ranged combat units for Dark in the Sky. Double time, fire and close, first strike, foot onslaught, leaders, line command, move, fire, move, mounted charge, and rally. Wow, only one rally card. That's pretty wild. So those are the cards, and you'll have a hand of so many cards. You don't have a hand of tons of cards, I got to point out. So that's why I said there are some folks out there who aren't huge fans of Commands and Colors, because there are times where you'll have a hand of cards that you can't really do much with. So, I mean, it does happen. So, all right. So there we've got the mounted board. We've got the reference cards. So we got 2 copies of the Inspired Action and 2 copies of the reference cards. We've got 3 punch boards of terrain for the hexes. Got a little punch board for informational counters. We've got, was it 4 sheets, I think? Yep. We got 4 sheets of stickers for the cubes. Speaking of, we got all these cubes. We've got the battle dice, and we also have the deck of Commands and Colors medieval cards, as well as, so this is one of the things with all these blocks that's pretty funny, is that you have a hard time getting this box closed again. You got to really work at it. There we go. Got it set like that. So that is what we find when we take everything from Commands and Colors Medieval outside the box. As I pointed out, Commands and Colors Medieval is available right now from GMT. The game is for 2 players ages 14 and up. Plays in about an hour or more per battle. It does carry an MSRP of $75. So, as with all GMT games, if you are familiar with the Daily Dope, you know I point this out all the time. If you have any interest in picking it up, get it sooner rather than later, because GMT Games does not print huge, long print runs. So they sell out rather quickly with many of their titles. So don't get stuck months from now saying, yeah, you know what, I should have gotten Commands and Colors Medieval. It's out of stock now. Now I got to go to the secondary market and pay an arm and a leg. Don't get stuck with that. All right, so that is it for today's show. As I mentioned, kind of up in the air if I'll have a show tomorrow or not. I will know later tonight, so I'll tweet it in the morning if there's going to be a show. If there is, I am going to do the page for Cyberpunk. Now, next week, once again, up in the air as far as a Monday show. I am going to do a Tuesday show, and I am going to review Warfighter. Yes. So we're going to actually have probably 3 Wargame shows in a row. So, Wargame, I'm going to actually review Warfighter Modern from Dan Verson Games. And that might turn out to be the only show next week. So, don't know. We will have to see. Anyway, so as I like to point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. By now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Everybody in chat, thank you so much for hanging out with me and keeping me company. If there's not a show until next Tuesday, by all means, enjoy your holiday weekends. If you're in the U.S., if you're outside the U.S., just have, a great weekend. So enjoy your Friday and Monday too. Anyway, check Twitter to see when the next show is going to be. And of course, those of you who are not watching live, of course, thank you very much for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.